Okay, moving forward. Namaste, great morning to everyone. So, today I am going to dispel some, again, more erroneous notions. And this is one that pops up actually quite a bit. People will come here and say, Ramana never spoke about Kundalini. Ramana did not believe in Kundalini. Ramana had nothing to do with Kundalini. Well, that's not true. So we will take it from the talks with Sri Ramana Maharishi and see what he said for himself. Because when I say it, people don't want to believe me. So please, get the book, check it for yourself. Okay, so let's go through and see what he has said. I need to repair this poor book was out in my garage and the whole spine has come loose, so I'm going to have to repair this. Okay, let me find where it is at here. Sorry, it takes me a second to find exactly. Oh, here it is. Okay. The gentleman was there and he said, what is Mukhya Prana, the chief prana? He said, it is that from which the ego and the prana rise. It is sometimes called Kundalini. Consciousness is not born at any time, it remains eternal. But ego is born, so also the other thoughts. Associated with the absolute consciousness, they shine forth, not otherwise. What is moksha? Maharishi says, moksha is to know that you were not born. Be still and know that I am God. To be still is not to think. Know and not think is the word. And that's what takes place when one enters realization. Everything deconstructs, and you find out when you come out of it, it's like, I've never been born, I've never died. All of that life and baggage was a fantasy that had been carried. I am not that. I am this eternal is. This unborn, which is the life of all life and the death of all death. And there's an immediate consciousness change and shift at that point. Okay? So let's go forward to the next point where he is speaking of Kundalini. Okay. He is saying you are practicing breath control. Mechanical breath control will not lead one to the goal. It is only an aid, as so many of practices are. They are an aid. They are not the goal. They are an aid to go forward. Okay. While doing it mechanically, take care to be alert in mind and remember the I thought and seek its source. Then you will find that where breath sinks, the I thought arises. They rise and they sink together. The I thought also will sink along with the breath. Simultaneously, another luminous and infinite I will become manifest, which will be continuous and unbroken. That is the goal. It goes by different names. God, Self, Kundalini Shakti. What's the name of that again? Kundalini Shakti, consciousness, yoga, bhakti, jnana. And the guy goes, I'm not clear yet. He goes, when the attempt is made, it will of itself take you to the goal. It will take you to the goal. Okay. Let's continue forward. To see what else he had to say about that thing that he never spoke about. Again, this is why a little knowledge is a dangerous thing, you know. Okay. Does the tantric sadhana bring about self-realization? Yes. Okay. What I teach is basically a tantric type of a path. Kundalini is a tantric type of a thing. Okay? I don't usually say tantra because people in India confuse tantra with black magic, and here you hear tantra and you think it's sex. Okay? It's neither. It's neither of those. Genuine tantra. What's being sold under the heading of tantra in the West is absolute nonsense. Okay? So let's go forward and see. Again, let's start from the beginning. Does the tantric sadhana bring about self-realization? Maharishi says yes. He said, which worship in tantra is the best? Maharishi says it depends on temperament. What part does Kundalini, notice Kundalini, play in bringing about self-realization? Kundalini rises from any lakshya that you have. Kundalini is prana Shakti, the life current. Different deities are said to reside in the different chakras. Does one see them in the course of sadhana? Maharishi says they can be seen if desired. Then he says, does the path to self-realization go through samadhi? They are synonymous. It is said that the guru can make his disciple realize the self by transmitting some of his own power to him. Is it true? Maharishi says yes. The guru does not bring about self-realization. And this is what I have said a million times. It cannot be handed to you. The guru is an aid on your journey. Okay? We help to remove the obstacles. We help to move you forward in consciousness. So let's see what he says. He simply removes the obstacles, okay? The self is always realized. And again, that's why I say, what I am, you are. The only difference is I have realized the self and you have not yet. That's all. It's there. You can't get away from it. But this ideation people have of ego and being separate, therefore they have lost sight. Okay, so let's go forward. Is there absolute necessity of a guru for self-realization? And Maharishi says, so long as you seek self-realization, the guru is necessary. Okay? Guru is the self. Take guru to be the real self, and your self is the individual self. The disappearance of this sense of duality is removed of ignorance. So long as duality persists in you, the guru is necessary. Because you identify yourself with the body. You think guru too is a body. You are not the body, nor is the guru. You are the self, and so is the guru. The knowledge is gained by what you call self-realization. Okay? How can one know whether a particular individual is competent to be a guru? And Maharishi says, by the peace of mind found in his presence, and by the sense of respect you feel for him. So yes, again, when my students come into my field, or even when there is an association on the internet, their minds will start to still. There will be conscious changes that take place. Okay? Let's go forward. If the guru happens to turn out incompetent, what will be the fate of the disciple who has implicit faith in him? And Maharishi says, each one to his own merits. Okay? So again, yes, you can have a guru that's absolute BS, but it's your faith in him which can sometimes move you forward. And then that sometimes gets misplaced, thinking that that guru, so-called guru, is doing it, but it's not. It's being done by just simply your own faith. Okay? And allowing you to move forward. Okay, so onwards. In Pada, which proceeds from Kundalini, and Kundalini is not different from the heart. What did he say? Kundalini is not different from the heart. In fact, the whole Shadara, or the sixfold center, is contained in the heart. Okay, let's hear that again. The whole sixfold center, Shadara, is found in the heart. The Sushumna, with its source, Kundalini, is included in the heart. A visitor asked about Antarena Tahuga, can't read with the dark, Sendre Nut. And he said, Indriyoni together with the Sushumna Nadi is contained in Pada, and they are located in the heart. Okay? So those that want to confuse what I am giving and don't understand Kundalini and don't understand, what is being given here, there are the reasons that I give what I give. Okay? Again, this is not a Buddhist path. So let's go forward. Okay. Sri Bhagavan continued after his interval. Destroy the power of mind by seeking it. When the mind is examined, its activities cease automatically. Looking for the source of mind is another method. The source may be said to be God or self or consciousness. Concentrating on one thought, all other thoughts disappear. Finally, that thought also disappears. It is necessary to be aware while controlling thoughts, otherwise it will lead to sleep. So how to seek the mind? Breath control may do as an aid, but can never lead to the goal itself. While doing it mechanically, take care to be alert in mind and remember the I thought and seek its source. Then you will find that where the breath sinks, there the I thought arises. They sink and rise together. The I thought also will sink along with the breath. Simultaneously, another luminous and infinite I will manifest, and it will be continuous and unbroken. That is the goal. And it goes by different names: God, Self, Kundalini, Shakti, Consciousness, etc., etc. When the attempt is made, it will of itself take you to the goal. What? Kundalini is going to take you to the goal? No! Ramana never spoke about Kundalini. Never. Never, 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 ever. Okay. So now here we come to the most important one. Okay. So Swami Lokasananda continued another series of questions. They say that Kundalini must be aroused before realization. They say Kundalini must be aroused before realization, and that its awakening makes the body feel hot. Is that so? Maharishi says the yogis call it Kundalini Shakti. It is the same as vritti, of the form of God. Bhagavatara vritti of the bhaktas, and vritti of the form of Brahman. Brahmakara vritti of the jnanis. It must be preliminary to realization. Okay, are you understanding? It must be preliminary to realization. The sensation produced may be said to be hot. So does he dispel it? Oh, Kundalini's not needed. No, he never speaks of it. No, Kundalini must be roused. It must be in place before realization can take place. Okay, are we understanding? Are we getting a little light now on the subject? It goes on to say, Kundalini is said to be the shape of a serpent, but vrittis cannot be so. Maharishi goes on to say the Kundalini of Jnana Marg is said to be the heart. What is it? The heart. Which is also described in various ways as a network of nadis. Okay, it's a network of nadis, the shape of a serpent, of a lotus, or a bud, etc. He said, is this heart the same as a physiological heart? No. Sri Ramana Gita defines it as the origin of the I thought. He says, but I read that it's on the right side of the chest. It is all meant to help bhavana, imagery. There are books dealing with 6 centers and many other centers, internal and external. Okay? The description of the heart is one among so many lakshas, but it is not necessary. It's only the source of the I thought that is the ultimate truth. Okay? It gives a focal point. One surrenders into that heart. You surrender into the Kundalini, you surrender into that heart, you surrender into that is, that divine is. And all proceeds. Okay? So, onward. Okay, Sri Bhagavan explained to a retired judge of the High Court some points in the Upadesa Saram as follows. 1. Meditation should remain unbroken as a current. If unbroken, it is called samadhi, or, what's that word? Kundalini Shakti. Okay? Meditation should remain unbroken as a current. If unbroken, it is called samadhi, Kundalini Shakti. Number 2, the mind may be latent and merge into self. It must necessarily rise up again, and after it rises up, one finds oneself as ever before. For in this state, the mental predispositions are present. there is in latent form to remanifest under favorable conditions. Number 3, again, the mind activities can be completely destroyed. What do they need to be? Completely destroyed. This differs from the former mind. For here the attachment is lost, never to reappear. Even though the man sees the world after he has been in the samadhi state, the world will be taken only at its worth. That is to say, that it is the phenomena of the one reality. The true being can be realized only in samadhi. What was then is also now. Otherwise, it cannot be reality or ever-present being. What was in samadhi is here and now too. Hold it. And it is your natural condition of being. Samadhi practice must lead to it. Otherwise, how can a nirvikalpa samadhi be of any use, which a man remains as a log of wood? He must necessarily rise up from it or sometime or other and face the world. But in sahaja samadhi, he remains unaffected by the world. So sahaja samadhi is when you come out, and it's ongoing, effortless. One remains in a state of meditation. One remains in that state of awareness. One remains in a state of a samadhi. Stilled mind. Okay? Okay, last. There was some reference to the heart. Sri Bhagavan said, the Yoga Shastras speak of 72,000 nadis, of 101 nadis, etc. A reconciliation is effected by others that 101 are the main nadis, which subdivide into 72,000. These nadis are supposed by some to spread out from the brain, by others from the heart, and by some others from the coccyx. They speak of a paranadi, which is said to rise up from the coccyx through the sushumna to the brain and descends to the heart. Others say the sushumna ends in para. A few advise seeking realization in the head. Salisrara, a few between the eyebrows. A few in the heart, others in the solar plexus. If realization amounts to gaining the paranadi, one might enter into it from the heart. But the yogi is engaged in cleansing the nadis. Then Kundalini is awakened, which is said to rise from the coccyx to the head. The yogi is later advised to come down to the heart as the final step. Okay? But it is not needed to focus on all these chakras from the coccyx up. Remain in the heart. Okay? The Vedas say the heart is like a lotus turned down or a plantain bud. There is a bright spot, atom-like the end of a grain or patty. That spot is like a flame, and in its center, transcendental Brahman is seated, which is that heart. It is the heart of the physiologists. If so, physiologists know best. No, it's the heart of the Upanishads is construed as Hridayam, meaning this is the center. This is where the mind rises and subsides. This is the seat of realization. When I say it is the self, the people imagine that it's within the body. When I ask where the self remains in one's sleep, they seem to think it's within the body, but unaware of the body and its surrounding, like a man confined to a dark room. To such people, it is necessary to say that the seat of realization is somewhere within the body. The name of the center is the heart. But people confound it with the heart organ. Okay? It's not the heart organ. Okay? We say the seat of the spiritual heart is here. If you point to me, where do you point to? When you point to I, you point here. That's the seat. That's the seat. Anybody that points I, you point directly to that heart center of the divine is. So, again, what does Ramana say? Oh no, you don't need Kundalini. He doesn't say anything about it. No, it must be woken. It must be preliminary to realization. So I will leave it here. Okay. Yet again, this is why I say a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. People have read one or two things and then they think they understand the whole of it, and they've gotten so confused and misinformed that they've lost the whole dynamic and have gone off on a tangent in a wrong direction. Okay? So I will leave this here. Namaste. Have a wonderful day, everyone.